foreignfilmcast.com. 28.
Hey.
We're back with a quickie on something you've been waiting for. It's called Either Way. This is the pre-remake for the upcoming
Prince Avalanche.
Come on.
starring
There's Emil Hirsch
and
You took mine.
and Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
directed
Mine.
by-
David Gordon Green.
All right. So the original film is called Either Way in English, directed by Hafstein Gunnar Sigurðsson. Feel free to send some audio on how to pronounce this properly. We wanted to get a shout. We were getting a few comments now, and we got a shout. Who's your guy on Twitter? Oh, Trace forgets. To you, we thank you.
Thank
we
you.
forgot to you will remain nameless. Okay.
Until the next one.
So please send feedback to foreignfilmcast@gmail.com. For Paul,
It's masterpaulff@gmail.com.
for Trace,
Trace700 at AOL.
and please subscribe to our YouTube
Please.
channel. So this was a 2011, here in the wiki, they call it a comedy. So if a wiki calls it a comedy, it must be a comedy.
It has to be.
Trace, what'd you think of Either Way?
I thought in the beginning it was very crude. I wasn't really into it until maybe 30 minutes into it, which is almost halfway through.
And it was the 80s music that got
It
you,
was
right?
the 80s music.
Ah.
I loved it. Actually, I was really surprised. I was converted. I ended up liking it.
You want the soundtrack.
I want the soundtrack.
So if you have the soundtrack,
No, I like the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. I
we're
love the
looking for
cinemat.
our Icelandic falco.
Shut up! No. I like
All right,
the.
all right.
We're
I
still
like-
exploring.
I like
more
the
music.
I like the cinematography was beautiful. The
I'll give you that.
landscaping was beautiful. The acting, for what it was, I thought it was fine. I was bowled over. I was converted. I would recommend it. I give it a thumbs up.
So I agree with you on the cinematography. How the shots were beautiful. Editing was a little longer than I like, with sparse dialogue, in my opinion. Acting was pretty solid. Wasn't
Yeah.
fantastic, but I think it was solid. Paul, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought the acting was okay, but I agree about the cinematography. It was excellent.
Yes, it was really
The
beautiful.
cuts were long, and there were a lot of silent parts. So, yeah, if you like that.
But it was supposed to
it's,
be.
But
It was supposed to be.
there's some parts where I think it's appropriate, but it was too long, and I didn't dig the movie as much as Trace did.
All right.
But the 80s music was okay. Yeah.
All right. So too long, and it was 84 minutes. So just keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
it was only an hour
So
and a
I
half.
guess what we're saying is it should have been a short feature.
Maybe
20
What?
minutes.
20
minutes,
minutes? 30.
And with all the 80s music.
We were blown away. We weren't. Maybe feedback. Please send audio to foreignfilmcast@gmail.com. Audio comments are welcome. Why do you think this movie needs to be remade?
That's a big.
Trace's theory was it was so bad. Is that what you said?
I thought that the first one was so bad that the second one has to be better.
I don't know. It doesn't seem logical
Come
to me.
on. That's my
my view is-
interpretation.
Lots of movies you could remake with those criteria.
That's true.
Um,
But I think lots of people they're running out of ideas. And,
There's no originality. This was an original story.
Okay, so just the basic setup here is two guys. They're out. I suppose they're in Iceland. I don't even know.
In the back, like in the
they
country.
did say it's in Iceland, yeah.
Okay, 1980, and it's summer. They are pretty much on their own. They're camping. They're
On a
doing road work. They're painting stripes, and they're putting.
They're on the
And-
road
and
to
poles.
nowhere.
They're kind of like kilometer markers. I'm not quite sure,
But
something like
it's
that.
so low tech. It's hysterical.
So every weekend, so there's like a 24-year-old dude and a 33-year-old dude,
Right.
and the 33-year-old dude
Alfred.
has
No, his name is Fosbo.
The 30-year-old is Finnborg.
all right. So 30. Yeah,
Finnborg.
forget the names. 30-something
Alfred.
guy is in a relationship with young guy's sister.
Right.
They had kind of a tiff. It's implied, but he still wants to maintain this relationship.
He's in love.
24-year-old dude is pretty much interested in getting laid on the weekends. He says that being out in the wilderness makes him, let's say, it elevates his libido. That's kind of what he was saying.
He wants to get it on.
So this movie has 4 actors. So just it's a spoiler. Sorry, I should have told you.
Spoiler.
Anything? So, in my opinion, before the spoilers start, my opinion is, if you're really into Finnish movies, my impression is there aren't a ton, and then this may be a movie for you. But aside from that, I think there are just so many other better options. I would not recommend this in another situation. Paul, what's your opinion on recommendation?
Yeah, I didn't think it was. I mean, yeah, it's okay, but I think
Really?
there's a lot of movies that are better than.
I love it.
I
love it.
The road. It's basically the road trip movie. You know,
It's
you
all,
go
it's a soul searching
trace
kind of road
discovery,
trip.
You learn
You
about
love it?
yourself.
You can
and
add it
help
to your
each other.
collection?
I'm gonna add it, and the soundtrack. Come on,
Well, there's.
Icelandic 80s.
Icelandic.
I'm sold.
I don't think they're all Icelandic, but
Whatever they are, Euro 80s
From-
rock.
yeah.
It's just, to me, I was like, woo, I love it.
All right, well, that's our opinions. Now, spoiler time.
Spoiler.
Anything you want to spoil away? So basically, the biggest dramas of the movie are number 1, a Dear John letter for 33-year-old guy. That's very upsetting to him. He's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, still in love. Just
Hasn't committed yet.
apparently he says this is his greatest love of his life. He's only had sexual relationships with 2 women, and sounds like the first wasn't even a really significant relationship. So this is a big deal for him. He was actually the stepfather figure to his girlfriend's daughter, and so he was taking this very seriously. The other guy kind of goes off on the weekends and tells us these stories about this girl he thinks is fantastic looking, and he's been pursuing her, and she has been in a relationship with his buddy. He doesn't seem to care much about that relationship, and is all guns for this girl, and he comes out of he doesn't quite get the action he's looking for, but he comes out of a bedroom with this girl and runs into his buddy, who then bloodies his face.
Punches him in the hallway. Gives him a black eye.
Is there any more drama? I think I'm missing something
I think
else.
that's
The letter is the biggest.
That's all
the biggest
outside
crutch.
the camera, though. That's not.
We don't see it.
Yeah, it's not shown. But the biggest one for the young man was that he admits that some girl he slept with before.
He got her
yeah.
pregnant.
There you go.
Disa. Her name was Disa.
Lisa, right.
We don't see her.
You don't see that encounter either because he
So the
retells it.
33-year-old guy says, "This is a gift from God. This is fantastic."
Baby. He tells her, I don't want anything to do with it. I want you to raise the child on your own. If you decide to have it, you're on your own. And that's basically, I'm out of the picture. He's a cad.
So it looks like the 24-year-old guy takes this guy seriously as a mentor and is considering going from a position of, I want to have nothing to do with you, I think we need an abortion, to if you decide. Apparently, what this 24-year-old guy is told by the girl is that I have a hard time getting pregnant, and if I abort, then I may
I'll
not
never have
be
a
able to
child
get
ever
pregnant
again.
So he comes around to a position of, well, I'll have something to do with my child's life.
Yeah.
Anything else? It's pretty quick. It's a short story, really.
It's a very
Those
simple.
were the most best parts of the movie.
Well, it's a very simple
Besides
plot.
the music.
Besides the music, it's a very simple plot. It's a lot of
And,
soul searching, and you have to take into consideration the surroundings. It has a lot to say, like the barren, because the place looks like Mars, right? You were saying it looks like another planet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of speaks to the interior of their soul.
But also, and then there's this funny truck driver guy who
Yes.
comes around. He opens bottles with his teeth.
Oh, he's
Coke
like a
bottles,
seven
Coke
Coke
bottles.
bottles. He's got like he looks like that guy Jaws in the 70s. What's it called? That James Bond
He's
movie.
kind of big like him.
He's
Not
like a
even look
7
like him.
footer, but he's all like.
Then he brings out the
blonde
vodka.
He's our comedy relief.
And
It's
he leaves.
hysterical.
Then he says, "Oh, it's time to go," but he leaves behind full bottles of vodka. Right.
Right.
He is so
So,
funny. I mean, I think
that's-
he's the funny.
Yeah, he
He's
does
the
bring
comic
a relief.
relief.
And he has this random thing where he picks up
Some
like
chick
the
on the
only woman in the
sidewalk.
movie. The only woman in the movie,
She's
and
He
she
picks up on
doesn't.
her.
She never speaks. She never speaks.
She just
Doesn't
looks.
say a word. No.
She gets out of the truck and he pretends that she was never there, and then she gets in another scene. She gets back on. That's her role.
And then they try to
That's
pick
it.
her up at the end. Remember? And they try to pick her up at the end, but she's waiting
She
for
didn't
him.
say a word.
So she doesn't say. She's just a speechless.
All right, so I think we have nothing more to say except tune in again. We will give you the remake. We're going to discuss the
Yes.
remake. It's
Monday.
not a foreign movie, but we always find a way to link it in.
Yeah.
And
I recommend it. Thumbs up.
I'm saying Prince Avalanche can't be worse than
Yeah,
this.
it could be better. Has to be better.
It's good.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's
We'll
worth
talk
the
about
80s
it.
music. It's worth it.
All right.
Tune in,
see.
please, for the Prince Avalanche.
Foreign film guys.